Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Do you have a hands-folded child? Ever quietly engaged in school, except when shooting their hand up in response to the teacher's question? Does your child eagerly do homework, including the extra credit? Then this little talk isn't for you. It's for parents whose child is more likely to say, "This homework is stupid!" or even, "I hate school!" Here's a sample dialogue that embeds common complaints about school. Interspersed are undergirding principles. We'll take "I hate school." It's a difficult one because it's such a broad complaint. I hate school. What do you hate about school? Everything. Is school too hard or too easy? Offering choices is a way to encourage a reluctant person to continue the conversation. It's too easy and it's too boring. Why do I need to know how to graph an ellipse? Why might the math experts have decided that all kids need to know that? See, throwing the question back at the child makes it more likely that the kid will buy the explanation. But the kid says, "I have no idea." Could it be because they believe it'll make you a better thinker? That's silly. Well, whether or not they're right, do you feel that striving for good grades is worth it? Now notice how it was framed as a neutral question rather than a leading one, such as, "You want a good grade, don't you?" That's more likely to generate a thoughtful response and maybe even compliance. The kid shrugs. Why else do you hate school? The parent didn't lose sight of the child's broad brush statement, "I hate school." By the way, before that, when the kid shrugs, it's a way of the kid saying that maybe the parent is right, the kid cares about the good grade, it's not worth fighting, whatever. But instead of nailing the kid to the cross and making the kid say, "You're right, mommy," the shrug is a quiet way of doing that, and so the parent shouldn't then insist on going further. So the parent then changed the topic and says, "Okay, why else do you hate school?" And the kid says, "The kids are mean." What do you mean? And notice that before moving to solutions, gaining clarification is usually why. Asking, "What do you mean?" Not, and it's not just for a parent or a kid. Asking the kid to verbalize it can help the child crystallize thoughts. So it's not just for the parent to get clear about what the problem is, but for the kid in verbalizing it, they crystallize their thoughts. Of course, that principle is valid also when an adult is telling you about a problem. The kid responds, again, we're back to in response to the question, "Well, what do you mean the kids are mean?" And the kid says, "They steal kids' lunch and beat up kids at recess." All kids do that? No. Do they do that to you? Sometimes. By the way, do they do that to you? That's clearly the message. It made it easy for the kid to then say, to admit that it's him, because she was talking originally saying the kids are mean, but not specifically mean to the kid. And by asking, "Do they do that to you?" it makes it easy for the kid to say. And again, the kid isn't going to necessarily say, "Yes, mommy, it mean," but sometimes the parent says, "Do you do anything to provoke them?" They call me wimpy and Einstein, and they know I'm not as strong as they are. Do you make them feel stupid in class? Now, the parent had hoped through the earlier questioning that the child would hypothesize the cause of the kids being mean to him. But when the kid didn't, it's appropriate to posit a possible causation, especially if it's posed as a question. The kid says, "The teacher calls on me, and calls on me whenever they give a stupid answer. The teacher knows I'll give a better answer." So the parent decides not to tell the kid to be quieter in class, so shifts to a more appropriate, more symptomatic solution, and therefore asks, "Do you tell the recess supervisor about it?" She just tells them to stop it, and then when she's not looking, they beat me up worse. Well, which do you think is wiser? Tell the teacher, avoid those kids, try to make friends with those kids, take karate so you can beat the hell out of them, maybe they'll leave you alone? Again, offering choices is usually or often wise. "I'm too chicken to fight them." Can you try to avoid them? I guess. Again, it's usually too much to expect a child to agree on a solution, say, "Thank you, Mom, I'll do that." But planting seeds is about as much as can be expected, especially from a first conversation about a problem. Let's turn to another problem. This for typically with, obviously not typically, it is with older kids. When the kid says, "I have plenty of time to do my college applications." It's a real common thing that parents argue about, all kinds of aspects of preparing for college. Studying for the SAT and doing the essay, looking for colleges, so on. Parents say, "Would you please get started on your college applications? The more you pressure me, the more I won't do it. So I'm between a rock and a hard place. I leave you alone, you don't do it. I pressure you, you don't do it. I will." The child privately recognizes the parent's dilemma, but it's unrealistic to expect, again, the kid to say, "You're right, Mom." You say that with your school papers. You say that with your school papers, that you'll have plenty of time, and then you have to cram to get them done. The parent is right to be invoking the child's track record here. Even if it makes the kid feel defensive, it plants a needed seed. Kid says, "And I usually get an A or a B." There's no grade inflation in college essays. Now that's pretty tough on the kid. It implies that the child's good grades really weren't earned, but sometimes tough love is needed. "So I end up at SUNY Stony Brook instead of SUNY Binghamton. Big deal." You say that now. "You told me not to care about brand names, and now?" The child just used a powerful rhetorical ploy, used the opponent's argument against him, and implying hypocrisy. That forces the parent to dig deeper to find a stronger argument. You're right. The college's differences, even Columbia versus SUNY, are small. More important, writing a college application is a growth experience, maybe the most potentially beneficial so far in your life. Do it well and you'll know yourself better. And because it's higher stakes than a school assignment, if you let yourself really get into it, you'll really benefit, whether you end up at community college, Cornell, or Columbia. The kid rolls his eyes, and again, seeds planted. As in all endeavors, excellence in parenting is defined by nuance. When to be declarative, when interrogative, when to use a light hand, when to impose tough love. The good news is, in the absence of extremely tough or extremely laissez-faire parenting, most kids' behavior will end up as it was meant to be, that combination of genetics, education, and peer influence. You can relax, at least a bit. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.